NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
This is Mace-plaining, and I did this recently. You guys hear that garbage truck? They tend to be here right in the middle of everything all the time, so I apologize if you hear that. Mace-plaining. I made a bunch of predictions at the beginning of the year. We're going to look back, and we're going to check, am I hitting on them or am I missing on them? So, we'll see you. We'll see what we got. Sorry, I'm distracted by that garbage truck that's literally right outside my door. Wednesdays, that's why we don't usually do it on this day. All right, so we did my predictions, and then we have, I had some bold takes, and we will be doing that going into hour 2 of the show. So, biggest surprises, biggest disappointments, and then all of the awards. Prepare to get blown away. So first up, we have biggest surprises so far in the season, looking back at the first half. These 3 gentlemen, I'm going to give a shout out, and there are quite a few guys out there that are doing well, but biggest surprise, we have Pete Crow Armstrong with the Reds. He is an all-star, hitting .265, 25 home runs and 71 RBIs, which is astronomically above his career averages so far. A little shout out to Chris Flexen, a guy who was back against the ropes, really just trying to find a job, and has been really effective out of the bullpen for the Cubs. Now, he is greatly overperforming a lot of his peripheral stats. I hope he continues to work within that area, at least for the whole year. You want to get through a whole year. But he has a 1.47 and a .93 whip. And he has been a bright spot for their bullpen. And a little bit of love for Ramon Laureano joining the Baltimore Orioles. He has been one of the few bright spots over there this year, hitting .284 with 11 home runs, 35 RBIs, and it was a little bit of like a throwaway signing for them. And he's been very good. He's a good defensive outfielder. He's got a great arm, and he plays hard. He's got energy. I can attest to that. He's a great dude. And he just loves to talk hitting. He loves the game, and it's good to see him doing well as well. The biggest disappointments aren't necessarily maybe a biggest disappointment in the scope of the world, and I also want to hear you guys' feedback on this because I'm sure every team has their biggest disappointments, but a couple interesting ones that I think guys who are notoriously so good and they just haven't been, Mookie Betts and the San Francisco Giants version of Rafael Devers. Mookie Betts is hitting .244 with 11 home runs and 45 RBIs, which hilariously is a little bit better than Laureano, but like, those aren't Mookie Betts numbers. That's just pretty good, right? I think he would say that, and that's considered underperforming in his mind. But yeah, that's a little lackluster, more lackluster than I've really ever seen from Mookie. So it's interesting to see what he'll do in the second half. But he's been around for a while, man. That's what happens. And for Rafi, 25 games for the Giants. He's hitting .202 with 2 home runs, 10 RBIs, and a .656 OPS. Hasn't quite found his footing there, and probably not the greatest look on the planet to not come out super hot. So let me know again in the comments, who are your biggest disappointments? Who are your biggest surprises? Because I'm sure there's a lot of guys I'm missing. I could have been sitting here talking forever, but we have time limits. This is a live show. So got to make sure that I'm on top of that stuff. All right, let's go. Who did I guess the awards winners would be at the end of the year? And if the season ended right now, who I think they would be. So we're going to go my pre-predictions and then how I think that would change and if I was right at all. So for AL Rookie of the Year, my first guess was Christian Campbell, who has recently been sent down to AAA, with Jackson Jobe, who has been hurt, but he's been okay. He's been fine, and he could still be in the running if he comes back healthy. But like, it's not out on these two guys, but they've just been they've had their struggles, and they haven't been as electric as I thought they would be. And right now, my AL Rookie of the Year is Jacob Wilson, all-star, never walks, never strikes out. Looks like he's playing wiffle ball, but he's having a good time, and the guy can hit, man. Defense notwithstanding, the guy can hit, and he right now is my AL Rookie of the Year. In the NL, I thought we were going to have Hiroki Sasaki followed by Bubba Chandler. Now, this one was a big whiff, okay? Roki has struggled at the beginning of his career, and now he is hurt potentially for the rest of the year. Bubba Chandler has yet to make his big league debut. So I don't think I'm going to be right about those two. So, but in the NL, who would I give it to? A guy I was just talking about, Gumby, The Miz, Jacob Mizrachi. Also, this picture, just look how jacked he is, dude. Just jacked. 6'7", 115. Pure fury. Jacob Mizrachi. He's been incredible. If he keeps going the way he's going, say he stays healthy for the rest of the year, they're just going to give it to him. But he needs to stay healthy, and he needs to throw 20-plus starts. He needs to throw 15 starts the second half. It just needs to happen. So hopefully he does, and hopefully that's what we get. AL reliever of the year, my guess was Mason Miller, though he has been very good, and he's striking out about 17 per 9. The ERA is greatly inflated, both from a couple. He's had 2 season killers. Like, he's given up 9 runs in 2 innings, which that'll kill you as a closer. And he also has to pitch in Sacramento, which is not fair to anybody, including the away team. So not quite there. If I had to guess, and right now, if it ended and the playoffs happened or whatever, it would likely be Andres Munoz. I think there's a bunch of other guys that can be considered for this, but he's up there, like Josh Hader. It's going to be a closer probably, but he's up there in saves. He might lead in saves, actually. And he didn't give up a run for 20 outings into the year. So he's been incredible for the Mariners, and he is probably my guy. On the NL side, I guessed Justin Martinez. Justin Martinez has been hurt for a lot of time. He signed a contract before the season started, a little team-friendly guy for Arizona. I think he's got a bright future, but he just hasn't been healthy, thrown enough, and it's just not him. It's just not him. I was wrong. I would say probably up there, and again, the NL's got a ton of guys that are right in this area, healthily, whatever, but for me, it's Edwin Diaz, man. He's having a season pretty close to 2022, and I think he's going a little bit under the radar because the Mets have been good, at least for me. I'm sure Mets fans are like, we know. What do you mean? But Edwin Diaz he's got a 1.5 ERA. He's saving all the games. He's throwing really, really well. He's having a good time, and he was made another All-Star. But I would say a guy who deserves some flowers and isn't a closer is the set-up man for the Giants. One of the set-up men. Anyways, Randy Rodriguez. This guy's filthy. And if you don't know about Randy Rodriguez, go look it up. He's been good for a while. So, honorable mention to Randy Rodriguez. He is in the running. He's in the running. Adrian Morejon is also another guy I think that could be thrown into that conversation. Okay? Now let's talk about Cy Young's. AL. I'd Cole Ragans because it was different, right? I thought he was going to take one more step forward. He's been solid like he is, but hasn't really turned into the crazy ace. And unfortunately, Tarek Skubal has been better than he was last year somehow. So I think this year is Tarek Skubal. I think Tarek Skubal is now the front runner, at least in the AL side, for the Cy Young currently. So I was close, finally, on something, but I don't think people are that close to him right now. He's been just absolutely ridiculous. He's been absolutely redonk. So, Tarek Skubal. In the NL side, my guess is Paul Skeens and Hunter Green. Now, before Hunter Green got hurt, dude, he might have been ahead of Paul. Hunter Green was right there. If he weren't hurt, I would say these guys would still be top 5, right? I think Skeens is very, very close. I think it's like 1A and 1B, but I got to give some flowers to a guy who hasn't won one and probably should have won one by now. Right now, it's Zach Wheeler. He's got just an edge on everything with Paul Skeens a little bit. He's thrown more innings somehow. He struck out more guys. He's given up less hits somehow. Like, the year that Skeens is having is credible. Zach Wheeler's been a little bit better for a team that's better. So I will give the edge to him. And honestly, he hasn't won one yet. And Skeens is going to win. If he continues to be this good for 10 years, he's going to win like 7. So I think we need to give Zach Wheeler his look. Zach Wheeler his looks. And honorable mention, obviously, I think Paul Skeens is right behind him. So it's anyone's game at this point. Now, real quickly, let's hit the MVPs. AL MVP, my guess was Bobby Witt Jr. He's been solid, not MVP yet. And sorry, Mariners fan, and sorry for the writers over in the writers' room, guys, but I changed my mind. It's Aaron Judge. I just don't know how you don't give it to him. He's just too good. He's just too good, and his batting average is still 100 points. Like, if his batting average were 60 points above number 2, it'd be better. But honorable mention, obviously, right behind him, Cal Raleigh. And then he just won the home run derby, too. So who knows? Maybe he goes off even more. But If it ends up Aaron Judge is like 230 and Cal Raleigh's hitting like 285 or 330 and 285, now we're cooking. And also, Cal Raleigh has the most important stat between these two guys, more stolen bases. Okay, and then in the NL, my MVP guess was going to be Juan Soto. Now, he is back into that top 10 conversation, even though he didn't make the All-Star team. He's been very, very, very good lately. Very good. Actually insane. He's been the best hitter in the league for the last month. But now, it's Shohei Ohtani. God, that picture's so tough. I love it. I love this picture so much. I think it's awesome. So, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani's probably our NL MVP at this moment. He's just the best hitter in the league. And he's also pitching whenever he wants. Just to add a little bit more value. I don't know. No big deal. Whatever. Rolls out of bed. Best player on the planet. Okay, and then finally, we have the playoffs. We have the seeding. This is what my guesses were playoff seeding before. Rangers, Red Sox, Guardians, Orioles, Tigers, and Astros. And on the other side, Dodgers, Phillies, Brewers, Mets, D-backs, and Braves. Now, I got 7 of the 12 right, which I don't know if that's great. I think that's just average. But right now, this is what it'd be if the season ended right now. We have Dodgers. I don't know why I did this all formatted differently. I was in a hurry. Dodgers, Cubs, Phillies, Brewers, weird. They're sneaking again. Mets and Padres and Detroit, Houston, Toronto, New York, Boston, and Seattle on the other side. This is how I had the playoffs playing out. Phillies versus Boston, and I ended up having the Phillies winning the whole thing, even though they're not showing up here for some reason. My guess was Phillies win the World Series this year. But I have amended my stance because Chicago Cubs have joined, and if I were to guess, based on the people I just showed you, who would come out on top of that bracket right now with how everyone is playing, I think the Cubs would end up taking down the Boston Red Sox, who are on a 10-game heater going in the playoffs. That would be a great spot. So I'm talking about the Boston Red Sox being the hottest team on the planet and the Cubs just being a solid team. I think at the end they would end, but I think the Cubs took it for the first time since 2016. I know, hot take. That's just my guess now. I'm amending it from there. So you can yell at me all you want. And I'll take it. But that doesn't mean I'm wrong. Let me know.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
Ah, summer. We almost forgot what it feels like to play just because. But even summer needs backup. A little partner in the good kind of chaos. Someone to bring the kung fu kicks. Hiya! To train some dragons. Fly, young dragon rider, fly. The kind of fun that keeps the days going. That turns living rooms into playgrounds. And reminds us what our bodies and our hearts were made for. Play that moves you.
My 10 bold predictions I made at the beginning of the year. So let's get into those 10 bold predictions and knock them out. So how this is going to work, we're going to look at the prediction, and I'm going to tell you, as of right now, are we on track to hit that prediction to be right, or are we nowhere close? A couple rules real quick. One big rule. If it's like someone wins something or is the best at something, if they're in the top 10, if they're outside of the top 10 right now, we're going to consider it a no and out of reach. But if they're within the top 10, then it's still reachable. Then they're still pretty much on track, because you can't expect people to just like lead in the category all year, right? If they're close, then I'm going to give myself a little bit of love for that. So, and then one of them was like the World Series, the MVP of the World Series, and that there's no way to guess that. It'll be the same thing as of right now. So I got that one out. So this is 9 bold predictions. We'll just go through them real quick and move on from there. All right, first bold prediction. I said no AL team will win 92 plus games. Well, that's a big wrong. I was very wrong there. It turns out there are currently 3 teams on track for 92 plus. The Tigers, Astros, and Blue Jays are all on track to win more than 92 games. games. So I would say 3 teams. If there was just one, maybe I'm close and they could fall out of that. But there's a really good chance that someone wins over 92. So Tigers have gone cold, though. No, Tigers lost the last 3 games before the All-Star break. They didn't go cold. They lost 3 games. So entirely possible. Do you think that they're suddenly going to be like, we're going to go 500 for the rest of the year? Because that's what they would need to do to win 92 exactly. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. 0 for 1. Surprise. Who would have thunk it? Number 2, overperformer of the year. A guy who I think that was going to perform higher than he was paid in free agency. So Tommy Pham was going to be huge for the Pirates. I had high hopes for the Pirates, not being the Pirates anymore. Unfortunately, they're still the Pirates. So I would say that's probably a miss too. Right now, Tommy Pham is hitting .250 with a .667 OPS. He's got 4 home runs and a .8 BWAR. It's fine. He's above average, or he's about an average player, give or take. I believe in F4, he's literally exactly average. So he's not hurting the team, but he hasn't really been the huge impact that I thought he'd be. So now we're 0 for 2. All right. Number 3. An underperformer that I guessed. I thought a guy who would probably come out slower out of the blocks for his contract. Now, let me be very clear, and I made this point then. I think Willy Adames was a good sign. I think he's a great defensive shortstop, and I believe that he is he's going to be part of that team for a long time. But do I think he's like a star? Probably not. And I also assume because the place is hard to hit in, and it's a little bit of a different parts to play, he was going to get out slow, and that has mostly been true. Willy Adames has underperformed a little bit from the amount of money he's being paid. He's hitting .221. He's got a .682 OPS right now, and right now a .0.9 BWAR and a 1.7 FWAR because of defense. Defense is heavily weighted into FWAR, and he's a good defensive player. So he's been solid, been okay. Average a little low and not super productive, and he's one of the higher paid guys on the team. So slightly underperforming, maybe not the most egregious underperformer in the league, but I'd say underperforming enough for me to be right. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? Yeah, okay. Moving on. Stolen base leader. Who did I think was going to lead the league in stolen bases? I chose Elly De La Cruz. And we're going to go with a positive because he's currently tied in 3rd, and he's only 4 back. So he's very close. He's top 3, and he could do that in 2 games, right? And if he wants it, he sees it right there, he's going to steal a lot more. So I think it's still pretty likely that Elly De La Cruz leads the league in stolen bases, or it's possible. So I'm going to give myself a check mark on that. But is he going to lead in caught stealing? So my whole point was I thought he would run the most. And has he been caught a lot? No, he's actually 12th in the league in caught stealing. So he's got a pretty good track record right now. He's not making as many mistakes as he did last year. I believe he led the league in both last year, so I just thought he was going to do it again. But he's been better decision-making and still up there in stolen bases, so hats off to Elly De La Cruz. The guy's getting even better. What team did I think would have the longest win streak? I guess the Cleveland Guardians at 10 games, because suddenly they just seem to do that stuff. But it turns out they actually have the highest losing streak of 10 of anybody. So, no, they don't have the highest losing streak. That's not the highest. They actually have a 10-game losing streak. The Rockies lost the most in a row. I think they lost 13. But the Guardians did the opposite of that. It was actually the Twins and the Red Sox have both done 10 or more this year. The Red Sox are currently still on their 10. So let's see what they can do right out of the break. But 2 other teams. And when I said this, back when I said it, someone was like, what about the Twins? The Twins always rattle them off. And the Twins rattled it off this year. So consider me chastised. All right. Number 7, my non-closer of the year, Jeremiah Estrada from the San Diego Padres. I thought he was going to have an incredible. Basically, I'm looking for guys who could be a closer, aren't a closer. Right now, though, he's a 2.93 ERA, 1.14 WHIP, and 60 Ks in 43 innings. I believe he has got like 11 holds or something. So he's been very good. He's a very good reliever. He's a rock-solid reliever, but that is by no means the best reliever. I would say it's probably more likely. There's actually a guy on his team that would deserve it more. That's Adrian Morejon. Morejon has a 1.85, a .82 WHIP, and 42 Ks in 43 innings. So I would say he's more likely. he would have a better shot. Randy Rodriguez is another guy. There's like probably 10 guys in front of him that are not closers, but he is very good. He's very good, and things have been solidifying for him. All right, last two. Who's going to lead the league in RBIs? My guess was Pete Alonso. And he's tied in fourth, or he's in fourth by himself. He's only 5 behind. Again, that's 1 game. So I think Pete Alonso has a legit chance, especially as Soto continues to rake. Pete has a legit chance here to end up pulling that off and leading the league. It'll come down to the wire if I had to guess, but I think it's entirely possible that Pete Alonso is our RBI leader. And then finally, I said 10-plus pitchers will throw 200-plus innings. And this was a bold one. I was like, there's no way. No one might get 200. But surprisingly, even though this is a no, there are 8 players. There's 8 pitchers currently on pace for 100 if they continue to do exactly the same rate they are. Though, for some reason, I don't have the list of those guys, but that was a surprise. I was like, there's going to be like 3. But there's 8, so it's not 10, but it is more than I thought. So who would have thought? Not me, obviously. And those are my bold predictions, and that's where we are. And if you were keeping track at home, not a lot of corrects. Was not right a lot. So just goes to show you, baseball predictions are a crapshoot, and you just shouldn't do it.